Hello everyone, today I just wanted to film a little video about why I talk about my rage attacks and why I raise awareness of rage attacks. I've made a couple of YouTube videos about them. I think I've spoken about them on TikTok a little bit and have written a blog post about the rage attacks. Now, some people in the community have said that they don't think people should be talking about rage attacks, and this is because people are really worried about making people think that people with Tourette's, PANDAS, those sorts of things that can cause rage attacks, they're worried about it creating the perception that we're dangerous. However, my personal stance on this is that I don't think it's helpful to just not talk about it. I do obviously understand why people don't want people to think that we're dangerous, and I know how talking about rage attacks could make people see us that way. But I think it's more about the way it's spoken about. It's unhelpful to just completely censor the topic. I had rage attacks an awful lot when I was younger, and they were one of my most debilitating symptoms. Now, people have said that rage attacks are quite rare, so they don't think we should really be talking about it because it's not reflective of the majority of the community. According to Tourette Action, the UK charity for Tourette Syndrome, over 40% of people with Tourette's have rage attacks. And that's actually quite a significant percentage. That's 4 in 10 of us, I believe. And for those of us who have it, it's very real, it's very scary, it's very debilitating. And not talking about it doesn't help us because we need to know that we're not alone. I say us when my Tourette's is probably a misdiagnosis, but I still had rage attacks, which is similar to the rages in Tourette's, just caused by PANS, which is slightly different, but there are similarities. But yes, rages can occur in Tourette's, PANS, and PANDAS. Instead of censoring the topic completely, I think it's important to be mindful of how it's spoken about. But the thing is, the rage attacks aren't a reflection of our character, and they aren't bad behaviour, they aren't a character flaw in any way. Rage attacks are a neurological storm, and they're a symptom, just like any other symptom. Saying we shouldn't talk about rage attacks due to the stigma and what people might think is like saying we shouldn't talk about coprolalia, otherwise people will just think we go around swearing all the time because that's like a massive stereotype. Interestingly, my main tics are swearing. They are for some people. Despite the fact that rage attacks can be violent, they don't make us dangerous people to be around because our rage attacks can sometimes be managed through things like medication, eliminating triggers, and lifestyle changes. For me, the biggest trigger was actually food dye sensitivity, but also tic suppression. Holding my tics in is really unhealthy. So they can be managed, and for some people they don't happen in public. Like mine, they were a main symptom of mine, but they never happened in public. Sometimes the rage attacks may be more directed towards oneself. It also shouldn't be taken that one symptom is a reflection of everyone with a condition. Because as I said, not everyone has rage attacks, but it's still not really rare, but not everyone has it. The way we present it needs to make people aware of that not everyone has it, but that for those who do, it's a distressing symptom and is not a character flaw or not a reflection of that person's character. I can't be 100% certain if I'm actually fully making sense now because my brain's a little bit foggy, but I'm trying my best. As I said, I don't think censoring the whole topic is the answer because there are many benefits of talking about rage attacks. If we talk about rage attacks, we could help a child who has really low self-esteem and hates themselves and has just been told that they're a bad person, they're naughty, people are disappointed in them. If a child feels that way for having rage attacks, then we can help them by talking about it and help the child see that it's a symptom and nothing to be ashamed of, and that it's not a reflection of their character. If we didn't speak about this, then that child may not be able to let go of those feelings because they may feel like they're the only one. And in my personal experience, doctors aren't very helpful for these rages because they just make people feel even worse. Doctors often label it as tantrums. Even Tourette specialists I've seen labeling it as tantrums, and it's not, it's a neurological storm. Labeling it like that is very unhelpful, and doctors unfortunately seem to be so obsessed with positive and negative reinforcement that can just make people feel bad for something they can't control if they get punished for it. This is my cat's tail. And using positive reinforcement, I didn't find it helped me at all. I had quite a lot of positive reinforcement. It didn't do anything because it was a neurological storm. So the doctors, unfortunately, in my case and some other people's cases, don't seem to be very helpful. They kind of just reinforce the false idea that it's a choice when it's not. And this is why we in the community need to speak about it, because people might not get help from doctors or therapists, we may have to learn from each other how to help ourselves and how to find triggers, what the common triggers are. And talking about it helps people feel less alone and less ashamed. It can really heal someone's self-esteem, especially if they've experienced the trauma of being punished for something they can't control, or the trauma of being told that they're just naughty or bad, or people are disappointed in them. When people say that it's a rare symptom and like we shouldn't talk about it because of the idea it may give people, it kind of feels like those who don't experience rage attacks just don't want to be associated with those of us who do. And that's quite sad, because that's creating a divide in the community and kind of saying you shouldn't be talking about your experiences, even though they're a valid experience that has affected our lives a lot, and we just speak about it because we want to help others who've experienced the same thing. If we don't speak about rage attacks, then it leaves people with this debilitating symptom without the appropriate support and without the awareness that this isn't their fault, and that's something that's really important to realise. I have no shame in my rage attacks anymore because they were an uncontrollable symptom. We should be able to give a whole picture of how these conditions can affect us, whilst making sure that we're mindful in the way we present it. That makes us show that it's not the same experience for everyone. Not everyone experiences this, and it's also not something that makes us a bad person. We're not dangerous people, but we can't censor our genuine experiences. Speaking about it also helps the parents, because parents often feel quite shocked when they see that their child is having rages, and they would want somewhere to read about it and somewhere to learn information about it. And I believe that the best information you're going to get on a condition is from those who have the condition and those who are related to those with the condition who have been through the journey themselves. If we didn't speak about rage attacks, there wouldn't be anywhere for these people to get that sort of support. I had rage attacks, and I'm going to speak about them to help the kids out there who hate themselves for something they can't control, to help the kids relieve shame, to help the kids who have been told again and again that they're just naughty and need to control themselves when it's not that simple. My rages are an authentic part of my experience which affected my life an awful lot. And I'm not going to hide it like it's some dirty secret, because it's not. This is an experience that many people have. And the more of us who speak out about it, the less stigma there is.